Beep, 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 beep. How we doing, peeps? Welcome to the Court of the EDI Jester. This sporting life. Things that just isn't cricket, right? Graham's published his book, which is doing incredibly well. And I could not be more pleased for him, but I was, to say the least, very surprised and proud that I appear in the acknowledgements for his book. And not only that I appear in the acknowledgements for Graham Linehan's book between Martina Navratilova and Sharon Davis. So there's a faint whiff of chlorine and a couple of furry yellow balls. So it hasn't escaped me, the humour involved in my placing in Graham's acknowledgements, but it has brought to the fore, from my perspective, a pattern that I'm seeing. That those of you who are attending my Warrior Teacher program, or those of you who've ever spoken to me, will know that I'm a creature who loves a good pattern, which is why so many of us that are involved in this fight constantly ask ourselves the question, are we the bad guys? Because you must always be sure that you're not getting ultra conspiratorial, which I can do and thoroughly enjoy doing, I must say, right? Nevertheless, it behoves us to try to find a way to not be like that, to keep checking ourselves and making sure that we're working on the premise of what do we think, what do we know, what can we prove, so that we are endeavoured towards the scientific rather than anywhere else. So sport loomed large in my mind after both the fact that I'd seen the placing of me between those two extraordinary sports people, and not just that, but also because I was looking to see what had happened on the old Facebooks, and somebody sent me a message. And I think it's important that we talk about what came in that message. It's a big thing, but it's not anything groundbreaking from my perspective, but I think it's really important generally, and so therefore it needs talking about. But before I tell you about that, I would like to say that I think of all the patterns that we discerned as we moved forward through this fight against the most dreadful critical social justice nonsense, such as gender identity ideology and all the grievance that comes with it, is the absolute devastation that these revolting, LARPing, cheating men have caused in sport for women. For many, this is something that they simply choose to ignore, and many gay men are doing that, and many women are doing that, and many men are doing that. They are remaining ignorant about possibly second to education. What is the most stark and more likely to cause realization in people that something is terribly wrong when the likes of Laurel Hubbard can enter a competition as a weightlifter pretending to be a woman, or even worse, that Leah Thomas can enter a competition for women pretending to be a woman at the same time as undressing in front of them and parading around in their changing room. I'm at odds with those that do not see the utter disgraceful lunacy of this. People I know, and those I don't know who I see on Twitter, it's insane that they don't. So what do I think? What do I know? What can I prove? Has been exemplified in the women who have come to the fore and fought for the rights of not just themselves, but other women in sport and the future of girls in sport to speak, and sometimes at great cost to themselves. I talk, of course, of the likes of Emma Hilton and Kathy Devine, who have done extraordinary work in this field in the attempt to bring attention by the public to what is a very serious and, quite frankly, completely mental phenomena. It's occurred here, it's occurred in America, New Zealand. I've no doubt it's occurring all over the place, and we have to ask ourselves the question, what kind of society have we become when we will sit by blithely while a mediocre man removes an excellent woman, which then removes the excellent woman below her and the excellent woman below her. It is simply not a fact of inclusion, which these stupid people wibble on about. It is that you are simply dislodging the very best that women are capable of doing and replacing it and saying that it's still the very best that women can do, but lying about what a woman is. This is the worst pattern, but the one that I think, if the public were to sit and quietly think about, could cause the most concern and raise the most flags about what's going on here. And perhaps then at that point they might see that this three-headed hydra that we're dealing with is infecting lives in such a way that it should be dealt with very quickly by government, but is not being done so. So from Sharon Davis to Martina Navratilova, Cathy Devine, Emma Hilton, yep, even Daley Thompson spoke up, didn't he? Gary Lineker didn't. What a surprise, yeah. So all of these people and others that I've not mentioned or I've forgotten to mention, I apologise to you, really need to be praised and thanked for their efforts in the field of sport, which leads me on to the Facebook post that I was sent by someone, which was an announcement from a rather wonderful woman called Riley Gaines. And Riley has had the most terrible time of it, and I'm sure that those of you watching this may well already be aware of that, but perhaps there are those who aren't aware of what happened to Riley Gaines, and rather than tell you the story, I would urge you to be curious and go and look for yourself, because curiosity is going to be something we are all going to need in the coming years as we fight to remove these cancerous ideas from our society that have allowed us to treat women with such utter disdain and to eliminate the concept of a sexual orientation altogether, whilst medicalising and sterilising children. That's my waffle for this particular video. Let's move on to the important bit, so to speak. Not that I'm dissing anybody I've mentioned before I get, jumped on by various people. I was sent what looks like a certificate of achievement. It's written as a certificate of achievement, and you'll see this on my Twitter profile. I put it on there in the profile, and I've tagged Riley Gaines in on it. I've put certificate of achievement, so if you want to see it, it's on my Twitter profile. Riley Gaines is a graduate of the University of Kentucky, is a 12-time NCAA All-American, 5-time SEC champion and record holder. I wouldn't want to have to make her a badge at a conference, would you? Hi Riley, how you doing? Right, okay. And 2-time Olympic trial qualifier. Just gets better, right? Gaines' achievement in the record book include the following: number one in 100 free, 200 free, 200 fly, 200 medal relay, 400 medal relay, 400 free relay, 800 free relay, and number 4 in 50 free relay. Gaines' record-breaking work now extends to her fiery advocacy. Oh yes, I love a good fiery advocate. And Riley's certainly one of those, of women's sports for women who are women. Resisting the women haters and impersonators who seek her silence, she reminds us, when they want to silence you, it means it's time to speak even louder. And as an inspiration for resistance among women and girls, Gaines carries a blazing torch for women's sport. Most recently, Gaines has declared October the 10th, Real Women's Day, a day to celebrate the achievements of real women on the 10th day of the 10th month. Okay? XX in Roman numerals. How clever is that? XX in Roman numerals. The war on women is in full effect, she declares. So it's time. It's time to say we've had enough. www.womanwhoarewomen.com, October the 10th, 2023, which was a couple of days ago. That's when it was started, but this will be every year. Go and find out about it. Go and visit the website. The links are all in the doobries, as I say. Okay, buy me a coffee if you can. Come and join my Warrior Teacher program. We're having such fun. Riley, what a wonderful idea. And to Cathy Devine and Emma Hilton and Martina Navratilova and Sharon Davis and Daley Thompson and every other sports person of repute who's spoken up. You get my eternal thanks. And I imagine I'm not the only one. Go explore, be curious, see what Riley's up to. And I will see you later.